Tiddly Dames, and this is one of our Arrow video reviews, so for the amazing movie Miracle Mile. Now, the first time that Claire and I seen this was actually at the all-night horror movie madness, and it was one of those, it was the last movie that played of the night, and a lot of people had left, but we like to try and make it all the way through the night. And I was so glad we did, because I thought this movie was amazing. And it was one of those movies I always kind of thought, why have I never seen it? And
I'd never even heard of it.
No,
before,
neither had
I can't believe that I'd never heard of it.
Sorry, I had cramp. And when we heard that Arrow Video was going to be releasing it, we were so excited, because after the all-night horror movie marathon, we tried to find it, and it was extortionate, and there was only, like, I think there was an out-of-print DVD and Region 1 release, but there wasn't actually anything for the UK. So we totally, like, pre-ordered this as soon as we could. And on watching it a second time, it's still amazing. So for anybody that's never seen Miracle Mile, it's basically about these two main characters here who meet each other and kind of do like love at first sight. And he arranges to meet her at a local diner later that night and goes home to sleep, but there's a power cut in his hotel and he's late to meet her. Like, so he turns up at like 4 o'clock and he was meant to meet her at 12. And obviously she's not there, and he's trying to find her, but in his process of trying to find her, he answers a telephone call
From a payphone.
from the payphone outside the diner, and it's a guy who works for the military, basically saying that the nuclear bombs have been launched, and
He works in a missile silo, and
Yeah.
he thinks that he's phoned his father. So when the main guy answers the phone, I've forgotten his name, but
it's on
when
the back, hold on. It's definitely here somewhere.
it's gonna annoy me.
Julie and Harry.
That's it. So when Harry answers the phone, the guy's frantic, and he doesn't even realise that it's the wrong number till halfway through
The
his
conversation when
panicked,
Harry starts to talk back to him, and then someone comes into the room, like where the guy on the phone is, and he hears gunshots, and then someone else comes on the phone and says, forget everything you've heard. Now, at the time this movie was made, and I suppose it's still like a big thing that everybody's always scared in case somebody hits the nuke button, but at the time this was made, there was a proper, like, everybody was scared of nukes. So it was...
I think it was a real threat. I know it's still a real threat, but back then it
More
was
of a threat.
imminent. You know,
Yeah.
people thought it's gonna happen. It was just a case of when.
And he goes back into the diner, and at first he's trying to kind of calm himself down, and then eventually he tells this sort of mixed bag of people that are in the diner. There's a transvestite, there's an obvious businessman, there's 2 bin drivers, isn't there?
And there's a
like
woman who you kind of gather has a connection to the military in some shape or form.
There's a woman dressed as a air hostess, and then there's obviously the people that work in the diner. And eventually he kind of tells them out of panic that this is what he'd heard. And the woman who you think's got a connection to the military, she phones up and basically gets it kind of verified. And then the movie goes chaotic after that. So people start panicking and they start trying to run away, and the woman with the connection to the military is like organised the flight, but he has to get to the airport to catch this flight by a certain time. And there's going to be a helicopter that takes off from a certain building to get to the airport before the bombs arrive within 55 minutes, isn't it? But although he technically had the opportunity to leave right there and then, he decided to go back for this love at first sight girl, Julie. And along the way he kind of bumps into other people and tells them what's happening, but it quickly goes disastrous. Like, there's a scene where policemen blow up and just chaos.
It quickly spirals out of control, and the thing is that when they're in the diner and he's talking to when that military woman's on the phone, that you don't actually know what the other side of that conversation is. So what I like about this film is you don't know if it was genuine, or if the fact that he created a bit of panic, that's what spread and spiraled out of control. And I don't want to spoil it by saying anything else,
We'll put spoilers in this, so if in the title, so if you don't want this movie to be spoiled, which I would, in fact, you know what, I'm going to try not to spoil it actually, because it's one of those movies you need to watch it. But I love how it all spirals out of control. I love the scene where he's looking for a helicopter pilot. Like, it's really, really good. and the ending of this movie will blow you away.
But the start of this film, though, that like he really likes this girl, and there is a bit of hesitation and hanging back, and will he ask her out or will he not? And then by the end of the film, it's like obviously he feels like this is my last day on earth. Everybody's feeling it, so people are just doing things that they wouldn't normally do or saying things they wouldn't normally say, and
I think one of the things that actually make this movie completely stand out and make you actually get into the same feeling as the characters do, and you're literally in it with them, going along with the same emotions, like their roller coaster ride, is the Tangerine Dream soundtrack to this, because it's amazing. It really, really amps up everything, the way that it just builds and builds and builds, and it really, to me, it's almost like a character in the movie, the soundtrack to this, because without that soundtrack, I don't think it would have been a good movie, but it wouldn't have had the same tension building with it.
And this film was really, really tense.
The whole way through it's tense. I mean, if you haven't seen Miracle Mile, I 100% would recommend it. And it's funny because we were actually talking about trying to do our top 100 movies of all time, and which is we will eventually do, but we just keep arguing over which movies to put in it. But this is going to be one of them, because I absolutely love this movie, and if I hadn't have seen it all night horror movie marathon, I probably wouldn't have pre-ordered it straight away from Arrow. I probably would have just waited and picked it up in a sale, which is a shame, because it is a movie that deserves like literally everybody watching it now.
When I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is kind of sugary sweet, this love story between those two, and very quickly it goes from being, oh, this is really nice, to, oh my god, what's going on, and oh god, it's chaos, and
it's just an excellent movie.
The ending was brilliant, though. They didn't cop out with the ending. I think it ended.
They did the ending that they should have done. The ending that an ending that a lot of other filmmakers maybe wouldn't have done. That's all we're going to say.
Wouldn't have dared to do it.
What I will say about the Arrow video release is the sound is perfect in it. The restoration work, the picture was crystal clear.
The picture quality.
The extra features with it, as you can see, there's usually the normal Arrow crap loads, but there's a good feature in this where there's like a reunion back at the diner, and it's quite funny because there's two women with guns in this. And I never noticed at the time.
I noticed.
But it wasn't until we watched the special features of the reunion at the diner that we realised Jeanette Goldstein was one of them.
I noticed.
I never noticed it at all. But it was really fun seeing them all together again, and there's like a really cool story about the makeup artist and one of the actresses in it, which I'll let you watch. You also have an interview with the actors that played Harry and Julie, which was a lot of fun. There's a bit with the director. And we watched probably almost all these extra features, and they were all excellent. I'd actually like to watch this movie with the commentary, because I think it'd be interesting to know the kind of thoughts and feelings that went through their heads when they made it. And it's a shame because the director of this movie, I think he might have actually been the writer as well. He was a script writer. Yes, he is. He only did one other film, and that's Cherry 2000, which I've not seen yet. And he didn't do anything else. I think he directed a few episodes in TV and stuff like that, but not another movie. And it's a shame because if Cherry 2000, I'm sure if you've seen it you can let us know, is as good as this film, why not? Because this film was amazing. But yeah, I would recommend Miracle Mile to him. But don't let the cover and the title and even like what it says on the back, don't let that fool you, because this movie is not what you think it is.
It'll take you by surprise,
and
definitely.
I'm not going to say I'll guarantee you'll put it in your top 100 movies of all time, but I think it'll be pretty close. But yeah, if you've seen it, let us know what you think about it, and if you have seen it and you can recommend any movies which are similar to it, let us know, because this one took us by surprise, and it's not a movie that we'd have normally picked up and watched, so we like little treats like that. But as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and take care.